Hi,
Hi, Sharon.
Kylie. I think a lot of people might know you, but hey, you just never know. I think there's so many people that we think we know in Bangalow, and then you look at the members list and you realise, wow, there's just so many people that live here that we don't know. So, welcome, Kylie.
Thank you.
I'm going to launch straight into some questions. How long have you lived in Bangalow, and where did you move from?
20 years, or just over 20 years. In fact, to be honest, it could actually be 21. We were living in Sydney for 3 years. Before that, I was in England for 2 years, but yet my husband and I are both from New Zealand. But I left for New Zealand when I was 21, and I'm about to turn 47. So I've been here longer than there.
No accent at all.
Until I say fish and chips. Or six.
What is your job? I feel like you have a few, but what is your job, and did it transport easily when you moved here?
My job, I have a business called Hello Media, and I'm a digital marketing coach and work with people on all kinds of things to do with digital marketing. So how it transferred here is that there was no such thing back then as digital marketing. And what I had back then was a film production company. And that transferred fine. I've always been a writer for magazines and advertising and films and all kinds of things, as well as being on the film side. So I thought it was going to be a fantastic transition because I had my own little agency and I had a lot of little freelance gigs on the side. And then I moved up here. Some of the work was still coming in, but it wasn't the same. And I kept saying, I can fly off to Sydney at any point and meet you, that would be fine, because of course there was no Zoom, but it trickled and trickled and trickled. And then I thought, I can make ads for people up here. And then I found out that the networks charged $100 if you wanted an ad. So it was really tricky. So I definitely had to reinvent, and I did a whole lot more courses and things. And then I've just been doing more and more and more courses ever since. And I've had other businesses or another business in amongst all of that as well. So I feel like it's been a flow right from at uni. I did communications and majored in radio and television. So I feel like it's been a flow to where I am now, but in actual fact, as I said, there was no digital to begin with. So it has been an interesting journey with that.
So you have to evolve, but I imagine that there are some pros to that, pros and cons, but a lot of pros.
Absolutely.
Which street do you live on?
We're on Paperbark Place, which is in Clover Hill, opposite the Bolo.
Do you think you'll stay in Bangalow forever?
Oh, what a question. So so some of you might know my husband is Richard, who is, he's often just known as the guy in the wheelchair with the little dog on his lap. So Richard and I had never had any intentions of being here permanently. And when he had his accident, which was in a few days, it'll be 13 years since he had his accident, that very much cemented us as being here, because it's very much a case of where you have your accident is where you receive your support. So even though our personal and physical support would be at home, that's not where the rest of our support would be. So the NDIS has been really great for Richard. For example, he's self-managing, he runs it as a business, he hires and fires his carers and all of that. So it's been a really good thing for him. And so for us to go back to New Zealand, because he's 3 years younger than me, so he was not even 20 when he left New Zealand. So all of his years of paying taxes and everything have been in Australia. So for me personally, it's an incredibly sad thing. It was never an intention to not ever go home. And I will always call it home, but that said, we know we could not be luckier to live in Bangalow. We have the most amazing support here from the community. It's just beautiful. Just the other day, I checked my voicemails, which I'm not very good at checking. And there was one from a lady who works at the Summerland, because Richard has to do some of our banking with Summerland because he can't use his hands. So he can't use an ATM. So he goes into the Summerland and physically gets money out. and one of the ladies from there rang me and left a message and just said, just thought I'd let you know, I've heard you're in self-isolation. What can I do to help? Do you want me to bring you some money around and drop off some cash? And I thought that was so cute. And then there was another message from Graham from up at Foodworks saying, I've just seen a little dog that looks just like yours. And I'm wondering, could that be Lulu up at the roundabout? Do you want me to help and bring her home? I was like, how amazing is this wee community? So we're incredibly lucky. So I feel bad before that I said, you know, kind of insinuated that we're stuck here. But we're very glad to be stuck here. You know, we're
I understand what you mean. I never knew that those two things were tied together. That's really interesting. It's probably for a bigger interview to get into that. That sounds really. I don't think many of us would have known that. If you had to move to, pretend that you could, if you had to move to Lennox Head or Byron Bay or Mullumbimby away from Bangalore, which one would you pick?
Can I put Brunswick Heads?
Yes.
You didn't even say that one, but I love Bruns. Yeah, it's got a good vibe. I'd get on my bicycle, which I don't own, and I would ride around and go to the river and do nice things.
What is the best thing or your favourite place in Bangalore?
It's actually the gazebo just up behind our house. So that's where... so some of you also may not know, but Richard and I, along with our friend Pippa, run the Bangalore Lionhearts. And Richard never got permission. He just took over this giant big patch of dirt at the end of our street. We're in a cul-de-sac. And that he got different grants. He's had different working bees. So it's just the most beautiful park now with a path and a gazebo and a barbecue and a massive big community garden that's empty at the moment because of the drought and all of that. And a big catchment area that he's planted out, and it's got rainforest pockets and native bees, and it's quite extraordinary. And that would be my favorite little spot to meet girlfriends and have a glass of wine, and I'm really missing that.
Yeah, because you're not sneaking and doing that without anyone knowing.
Well, no, because I'm really trying to protect Richard.
Yeah, of course you are.
That's the main thing.
Bad joke. Looking for humour.
I'll tell you what, I would otherwise, that's for sure.
Yes. What do you think's missing from Bangalore?
Loads of things. So I would really like all of that rail trail stuff going on to turn into bike paths. And even back when our daughter was in at primary school at Bangalore, they never had the bus. So the school bus only goes if you turn right. There's no school bus if you have to turn left out of the school. So little things like that. I feel like there's a major lacking in public transport. There's lacking in, you know, I know that you can get fish at some of the shops and things, but I would love a beautiful fish shop. And, you know, there's bits and pieces like that to me that are missing. But also there's so fewer restaurants these days, I've really noticed. I don't know if you remember, Sharon, but there was a really cool restaurant where the burger bar is now, and it used to be called Coca-Pelli's.
Yes, I do. I remember it really well. Yeah.
Had some live music.
And you sat on the floor.
Yeah, it was so fun. I feel like, and do you remember before Foodworks expanded, there was Fish Heads, and they used to do the little tappers night. Yep. And you know, there's lots of things that I really miss, and they were never replaced with something else. Yeah. So that's a shame.
Also, one of the things I thought you would say when I asked you about what was missing in Bangalore, based on me seeing some of your posts over time, is good footpaths, obviously to do with Richie being in a wheelchair, is disabled access around Bangalore, because we all see him on the main road, forced to drive his wheelchair on the road, and we'll, you know, wave. So, yeah.
Can I just add to that? And I found it incredibly upsetting. So Richard was in hospital for a year, and then we came back, and his favourite thing to do was to get a pie and a coffee before he had a landscaper and a horticultural business, which he still has, but you know, he'd go off in his ute and do it, and every morning he'd go and get the same thing. He's never been able to go into that bakery ever since, not once. So even though many of the shops in town could put ramps in, they never did. So you can imagine, and I know I'm going to sound awful now, like I'm bagging places, and I'm not, because honestly they're supportive. They see him, they'll pop out. But can you imagine for someone like Rich that needs a pharmacy all the time? He can't even access a pharmacy, and he has to sit at the front and wait for them to notice him. And sometimes that's taken quite a long time. And then that breaks my heart because he comes home and he's all frustrated that he's just invisible.
Yeah.
So stuff like that
Things that we all take for granted.
Yeah, there's so many things like that. So the footpaths is one for sure, but the access to shops is a whole nother ball game.
Yep. No, fair enough. Where was the last place that you travelled?
Oh, the States. I came back the day before the new rule came in with you having to be in 2 weeks in lockdown. I was just in San Diego for Social Media Marketing World, this amazing conference with 7,000 people. And I came home via Vancouver and I went to Mexico and it was incredible. It was only 10 days. It was super fast and it was just magic.
Fantastic. We're all missing travel right now. So where will you travel to next?
New Zealand. So I go to New Zealand once a year and I take our daughter because I think it's, even though she was born here, I feel like it's super important. Richard hasn't traveled since his accident, but I go and take Clover to see Richie's dad and stuff like that. And my granny's 99, she's still alive. So I'm desperate. I usually go in winter, so I'm really desperate to get over there as soon as I can, which could be a long time.
I think it's one of the most beautiful. I actually think New Zealand is probably the most beautiful country in the world. I feel like every country around the world is, I've only been to the South Island, but is on the South Island. 1 minute you're in Austria, the next minute you're in France, the next minute you're in Australia. It's to me, it's just the most incredible place. Okay. Best thing about isolation, worst thing about isolation.
The best thing is for me that it's no different to my normal life because I have an office that's built away from the house. So I come to my office every day. I've always had really strict rules around be up, be dressed, be showered, be in here at a certain time. I've never, just gone and put washing on or something like that. Like I'm really strict about here I am at work, but it's also good that I'm here because I'm nearby if Richard needs anything, but he's got other carers and stuff around.
Yeah.
So it's not too different for me, my life at the moment. But what I'm loving is that I've got Clover here, our daughter. So she has been at home with us now for nearly 3 weeks because of our self-isolation thing. But she was already doing she's in year 11, 2 things she was already doing online as courses, plus she's doing a Head Start uni program, which she's now also doing online. But we actually get on really, really well. And so the 3 of us are quite a cute little trio and we quite enjoy it, even though from time to time I think, oh, I don't need to see your face. I can be out here in my office. But for us, it's not that tricky. I shouldn't say for us because I'm sure for Richard it's horrendous because he's way more outdoorsy, way more social. And I imagine he's missing town desperately.
Yeah. Is the worst thing not being able to have a wine with your girlfriends around the gazebo?
That's the hardest thing for me by far. And but I've been doing my ukulele classes online and but I haven't been able to be playing the ukulele to my friends. So maybe I'll set up a Zoom meeting with the girls and I can play and whistle for them.
Yeah, we need ukulele. Dog or cat?
We have a dog. Yeah.
Okay.
No cat.
What's one skill that you wish you had?
I don't know if you'd call it a skill, but I wish I was a little bit more blokey, and that's going to make me sound like a 50s housewife, isn't it? But I'm not very. At the moment, we've had a bat living here since Saturday, a microbat in our house, and it flies around and around in the nighttime. It's horrific. It's gone like across Richie's face in the night. It's so awful, and I'm so tragic that I can't deal with it. And Clover's pretty much as bad as me, and we're like, what are we going to do about this bloody bat? Yeah. So that's the skill I wish that I had, is just being a little bit more gung-ho and ready to sort stuff out that Richard would have.
We can't be good at everything. What do people not realise about you?
I don't know what they may not realise. Probably that I feel like I'm I don't know. I think just that I'm always very conscious of what I can do to help others, and that if I could and didn't need to earn any money, I would just be doing that all the time and finding ways to help other people.
We'll all wish that you'll win the lottery then so you can do that. What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of having the most incredible daughter that I can't believe how lucky I am. She's just the most exquisite human being, and I don't know how I did get that lucky. But that's definitely what I'm the most proud of.
That's a nice one. What would be your ideal job if you automatically had the skill to do it?
I really like what I do. And what I love about it is that it's constantly changing, like literally on a daily basis. And so I find that challenge fantastic. I love that even before I went to uni, I was at journalism school. So I'm still using my same writing skills from 20 something years ago that I can still use now, etc. So that's what I really love about my job. So I wouldn't be doing other things. I've also in the past taught ballroom and Latin American dancing. So I might like, if I had a bit more time up my sleeve, to do a bit more of that. But right now I really just enjoy what I do.
Well, it's fantastic to be so happy in your job. What saying drives you nuts?
I can't stand, I don't know if there's sayings either, but words like hun. I hate being called hun by people I don't even know, or like hubby and those kind. There's a whole lot of Australian stuff like use guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm really big on grammar and stuff. So,
fair enough.
So I don't know if that's saying so much as just words drive me crazy.
I'm going to expand it to be sayings or words. What word do you overuse?
Amazing. I always say things are amazing, and then people look at me and go, really? Are they really that amazing? Like, yeah.
It's a nice one though. Okay, last question. Choose one. World peace or no one hungry?
World peace.
Well done. That was brilliant. Thank you. Lovely to meet you and show you to more people who don't know you already. Thanks, Kylie.
Thanks, Sharon.
Over.